the reason I'm here is because I'm a language teacher myself.
Okay.
And so I'd like to talk with my fellow teachers about what teaching is all about, basically.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
So from what I've gathered, you've had quite a long experience teaching English, right?
Well, I've been teaching English for a few years now, but I was working in the in business and industry before that for 30 years. So I've been teaching for about 10 years now, really. But
teaching 10 years English for a few years.
Only for a few years for English. That's right. Yeah. So I'm a history teacher by training in the UK.
Yes, still you have.
But the principles are the same.
I think so too. So my first question is, what's the role of let's say the role of a teacher, language teacher, of course, in our case.
Yeah. So it's there are two ways of looking at this, Vlad. There's an online language teacher, and then there's an English teacher in the classroom. This is different.
So sorry, I'm talking about adults.
In terms of adults, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, I think it's building the platform or a basis for the student to be able to carry out their own independent learning. So giving them the tools. This is what I think is important. One of the things that I learned when I first went into teaching, when I was at school, I just sat in the classroom and the teacher just talked at me like this. And I just listened and wrote everything down. Now today, teaching's different. Okay, so yeah, so you give them the basics. So you give them like a building block, like the building blocks.
I couldn't agree with you more. Just something I want to read to you. The role of the teacher is to teach the student how to learn alone without a teacher, how to become an independent learner. Exactly what you said. So how do you do that when it comes to language?
So it's about building confidence. So you need to create an environment where they're safe, where they feel safe to make mistakes. So they need to be comfortable. Certain cultures, for example, I live in France. Now, the French culture, they don't like to give an answer unless they know it's definitely right. Okay. And in the UK, this is different. We encourage people to give an answer. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. Okay. It's part of the learning process.
I understand that, but what about independent learning? What is it that you do or teach? What kind of advice do you give so that they can become independent learners? Because you see, the thing with the way I understand it is that basically we have to teach them how not to pay us. You see what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. We're more like we're more like a mentor, if you like. We're more like a learning assistant that's guiding them on giving them the tools.
So yes, what is it that you tell them?
Okay, so I don't actually tell them,
because to tell them would be like that's what they want. They want you to tell them and to write down everything that you say. So it's done through. They don't consciously know that they are learning themselves, but by the activities that they carry out, it's giving them the experience of how to learn, themselves, making them independent. So for example, for me, if I go back to my classroom teaching, so I would introduce a topic, for example, say we're talking about, just for example, I don't know,
teaching
sports activities. Okay. Yeah, I'll do sports activities. So I'll give them the basic vocabulary.
Yeah. So we'll brainstorm.
Okay.
We'll brainstorm something. We'll put on the board. What do you understand by this? Yeah. So what words
do you already know? So
I have a different
prior knowledge.
I have a different take on kind of teaching people how to become independent learners, but that's fine. I want to ask you about the way Cambly recruits teachers by saying get paid to chat with people from around the world. My question is, have you ever paid to chat in a foreign language?
No.
Would you?
No. Probably not. No, I don't think. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at different ways at the moment. I'm in France now, so I've lived in France for 3 years. I want to improve my spoken French, but there are people around me. I have the opportunity to engage with French people. Yeah.
To me, it doesn't make sense. You see, one more question I want to ask you. Would a native speaker of English, of your native language, pay money to have a conversation with you?
No, not a native speaker of English. No, absolutely not. No.
You see what I'm trying to say here?
But
To me, it doesn't make sense that a native, why would a non-native pay? And I'm not just talking about English, okay? And I'm not just talking from the viewpoint of a non-native. To me, it doesn't make sense for a non-native to feel normal, rational, to pay for a conversation and a native not pay for a conversation. You see what I mean?
I get, but a native doesn't need to pay for conversation.
Why would a non-native need?
Not in their own language.
But why would a non-native need? Again, we are not just talking about English, any language. In your case, French or...
It depends. Right, okay. It's not black and white. It's not straightforward. Now, some of the people that I speak to on here, they have different requirements. Some students, they want to take the IELTS test, they want to take the TOEFL test. Part of that test...
That's a little different, yeah.
So that's what you can't take everything as like applying to everybody. Each person on here is individual. They have individual requirements. So I say to people at the beginning of you've said to me, you want to talk about teaching. So if you hadn't said that, I would say to people, what do you want to learn today? Okay.
But isn't reading a book or reading an article 100 times better way to learn about a topic than pay for chatting? Wouldn't you agree?
It's another way. It's another way. Okay. Not necessarily. Okay. There are 4 skills. Yeah. There's 4 skills: reading, speaking, writing, and listening. So
if you're reading, listening, and writing are fluent at a high level, your speaking will 100% be fluent. I speak from experience. No. If you're reading it, don't forget that the word fluent applies not just to speaking, but also reading and writing.
Yeah,
if you can write fluently, if you can write smoothly, accurately, your speaking will 100% be accurate. You see, to me, language is a tool for acquiring knowledge. Language is not for speaking. Language is a tool for acquiring knowledge. And to me, when people talk about using language or practicing, it means getting information, acquiring knowledge. To me, chatting is an extremely inefficient way to learn a language.
Yeah, but it depends. You can use the term chatting, but you can talk about a number of different subjects. I won't just generally just chat. I would have a topic. So let's talk about, I don't know.
You're a historian. Let's talk about Bulgaria during World War II in English.
Okay, yep. I have a limited knowledge of Bulgaria.
You have a limited knowledge. So speaking is a byproduct of knowledge acquisition.
Yeah,
you can't talk about it.
Be giving me.
Yeah, but that means I have to give you the knowledge. So but again, this is not an efficient way. If you want to know about Bulgaria I'm Bulgarian, by the way. If you want to know about Bulgaria during World War II, you are much better off reading an article or reading a book or even Wikipedia page than having a conversation with me, because I'm Bulgarian, but I'm not a historian.
Yeah, anyway, I'm not quite sure where you're going with the conversation.
This feedback. I need this feedback. I need to see how people react, people with experience in this line of work. This is because I feel I'm kind of the only one feeling that way. That's why I'm paying to get this feedback. And yes.
For me, I don't have the, I will give the student what they want. So for me, it's quite straightforward. It's just a means to an end for me.
What they want is not what they need. And the onus is on the teacher to tell the student what's necessary, what's needed. Tell the student how to learn a foreign language. It's what I've done. And it's all in my book Virtually Native, which is available on Amazon and virtuallynative.com. You have one life. Don't waste it.